Good morning and welcome back to Tarot Tats and Tea. Today I've got some books to show you and a couple of decks of cards, and along with a couple of knickknacks that my mum purchased for me whilst I was visiting her in Wales. So I'm going to share this with you. Grab a coffee, get comfortable, stick around, and I'm sure you might find something that you'd like to add to either your library or your tarot collection. See you in a few. The first book we're going to look at today is How to Solve Your Own Murder, and it's written by Kristen Perrin. I have to be honest, this grabbed my attention straight away just from the blurb on the back. In 1965, a fortune teller told Frances Adams that one day she would be murdered. Frances spent 60 years compiling dirt on every person she met, just in case they might turn out to be her killer. But none of her friends or family took her seriously, until, that is, she was dead. When her great niece Annie arrives in Castle Knoll, she finds herself a participant in a dangerous game. Frances's will stipulates that the person who finds her killer will inherit her millions. And in the heart of her sprawling country estate lies an eccentric library of detective work, where the right person could step in and use her findings to solve her murder. Now, I'm only up to chapter 6. I picked it up yesterday and the ferry crossing was so lovely when I was returning home. I was being gently rocked to sleep. So whilst my eyes were open, I managed to read the first 6 chapters, and I have to say it has grabbed me instantly. The conversation between the characters is witty. There are laugh out loud moments, and to be quite honest with you, it's an interesting topic. So far so good. Once I've read the whole thing, I will definitely give you a more in-depth review. This is the second book. I think this is the first book that Kristen Perrin wrote, and let's have a look. I could be incorrect on that, but we'll just have a look here. Oops, oh, where are we? I think this is her first book. There is a second one. Yes, this is her debut novel. Kristen Perrin, originally from Seattle, Washington, where she spent several years working as a bookseller before moving to the UK to do a master's and a PhD. She lives with her family in Surrey, where she can be found poking around in vintage bookshops, stomping in the mud with her 2 kids and collecting too many plants. How to Solve Your Own Murder is her debut adult novel. And, like I say, so far, so good. How to Solve Your Own Murder, Kristen Perrin. The second book that I've got, I haven't actually opened this yet, like I say, I'm on that one over there. This is called The Bewitching, and it's by Jill Dawson. An atmospheric and powerful story of witchcraft in the 16th century English fens. Alice Samuel might be old and sharp-tongued, but she's no fool. Visiting her new neighbours in her fenland village, she finds Squire Throckmorton's family troubled, and, she suspects, not as God-fearing as they seem. Yet when one of the daughters accuses her of witchcraft, Alice has no idea of the danger she is in or how quickly matters will escalate. The Throckmortons' maid, Martha, uneasy herself about strange goings-on in the household, is reluctant to believe that Alice is a witch, but as the entire village gets swept up in the frenzied persecution of one of their own, she struggles to find a voice. The Daily Express writes, weaves history and literary fiction to powerful, chilling effect. The Guardian, it handles its material with panache and has real slow-burning power and pace. And Philip Hoare writes, our most consummate historical novelist, she crafts magic out of darkness and light. So this is The Bewitching by Jill Dawson. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that one. I read one some time ago that I did do a review on here, and it'll be over there somewhere if my memory serves me correctly. But that too was a historical, was a story based on historical fact about how witches were treated in the 1600s, and things like that I find extremely interesting. The next book that we have here is by Hester Musson, and it's The Beholders. The Daily Mail writes, I was hooked from the start. The Sunday Times continues to surprise with a series of twists. And then Susan Stokes Chapman, and we've reviewed some books of hers too, held me completely in its thrall until the very last line. Let's see what it says on the back. Leanne Dillsworth, author of Theatre of Marvels, writes it's uneasy, unsettling and unputdownable. London in 1878. A body emerges from the River Thames, suspected to be the missing child of the MP Ralph Gethin. 4 months earlier, Harriet, a young maid newly employed at Finton Hall, where she finds herself entranced by her famous master Ralph Gethin and his glamorous wife Clara. But Clara, though captivating, is erratic. Ralph is strangely absent, and their beautiful belongings seem to tell terrible stories. Unable to ignore her unease, Harriet sets out to discover their secrets. What she discovers could cost her everything, even her freedom. Laura Shepperdston, best-selling author of The Heroines, writes a well-researched and thoroughly convincing page-turner. And Katie Lumsden, author of The Secrets of Hartwood Hall, writes atmospheric with layer upon layer of secrets and twists. That is another one that sounds great. And again, once I've read them, I will do a more in-depth review of each. This last book that we're going to look at this morning is tarot-based. It's by Samantha Rose Hicks, and it's called Talking with Tarot. Conversations with your 78 new best friends. Now, when it says new best friends here, it could be deemed as being aimed at people who are new to tarot. However, for me, this, as I have said with a lot of literature when it comes to tarot, when it's based on learning or based on introducing people to tarot, I find that these books can be very helpful for those of us that have been involved in tarot for a long time. This particular book I find is helpful if you want to sit and meditate on your tarot, have discussions with each character in each card. Well, that's the idea after all. So let's have a look what the blurb says about this book. Now, Lisa Papez, author of Unlocking the Tarot, and as you will know, Lisa is here on Tarot, Tarot Tube as we call it, and has a great channel and a great Facebook page. Forget stiff textbook tarot. This delightful book, Samantha Rose Hicks, makes tarot feel fun, accessible and refreshingly personal. Dish with your deck. Reading tarot will be as easy as talking to your best friend with this beginner-friendly guide to understanding every card. Samantha Rose Hicks presents the conversational approach to tarot, which helps you form real heartfelt connections to the 78 individuals in your deck. Hicks introduces you to every card in the deck and shares the 4 important questions to ask yourself with each draw. She also shares exercises to deepen your connections, such as imagining yourself within the card's scenario, and questions to ask when a card is reversed. As you'll be aware, we've done practices on here where we step inside the card, sort of a meditation, stepping into a card and chatting with the character in the card. The character might give you something, a gift. What is that gift? What's it going to do for you? And that's the type of activity that you'll find in this book. It's very, very relaxing. It also gives you an opportunity to not only look at historical sort of interpretations or other creators' interpretations of the tarot, but gives you the opportunity to write down what comes to you if you are using it in the form of a meditation, or if you're using it in the form of writing, looking at the story, chatting from your heart and your head with the card. You can write your chats down, and it gives you your own personal in-depth look at each card. A conversation once changed Hicks's life. Now she passes that experience on to you. With her unique approach, you'll no longer have to rely on standard impersonal meanings. You'll know each card like an old friend who makes you feel safe, seen and understood. Samantha Rose Hicks is a professional tarot reader, witch, intuitive channel, teacher and certified holistic coach. She helps individuals create a life they love through personalised tarot coaching sessions, available online and in person at her Atlanta office. Hicks also hosts an online community where members can explore witchery, spirituality, and self-development, all in one place. Join the community at SamanthaRoseHicks.com. That's all one word with capital S, R and H, SamanthaRoseHicks.com. Now, I haven't actually looked in this book yet. You can see it arrived whilst I was away in Wales, and so I got home yesterday and I thought, oh, we'll have a look at that together on my channel. So let's step in and have a look. Talking with the Tarot. It's produced by Llewellyn. So we have a foreword by Elliot Adam, then a preface and an introduction. Chapter 1, Understanding the Tarot's Structure. Chapter 2 is Meeting the Major Arcana. Chapter 3, The Suits of Pentacles. Chapter 4, The Suit of Wands. Chapter 5, The Suit of Swords. And Chapter 6, The Suit of Cups. Chapter 7 is Cementing the Personal Connection. Chapter 8, Setting Up for Success. Chapter 9, Starting the Conversation. Chapter 10, Conversation through Tarot Spreads. And Chapter 11, Practice and Profession. There's a conclusion, a bibliography, and acknowledgements. Here, the High Priestess, Guardian of Secrets, Keeper of Sight, illuminate these pages, Mystic Mother. Through your veil, mysteries revealed, dispelling fears and a beacon light. Bless this work, your scrolls unfold. In silence, wisdom flows. And that's very true. You know, if you sit in silence with your card, you look at it, like I say, a practice I find really wonderful is holding your card, looking at it, seeing as much as you can see, closing your eyes, envisaging that card, then envisaging yourself stepping into it, as I have said, having that conversation with somebody. People might think, oh, that one's stark raving bonkers. Let them think that. But when you're sitting, nobody has to even know you're doing it, or you can do it as a group with groups of friends who are also within the tarot community. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's very relaxing as well as enjoying a relationship with your deck. So this goes through everything that you need to know. What I do like here, so let's see, we're looking at the moon now. So when you're looking at the moon, it tells you a little bit about it. Then it says talking to the moon in reading. Tells you all about that. Creating personal connections. Tells you how to create personal connections. Then reverse prompt questions. So if you're looking at the moon and it's in reverse, what block is keeping you from releasing your internal fears? How can you release your anxiety when it comes to the world around you? Why are you resistant to inner work? Why does shadow work scare you? So that's the type of thing you can expect to see in this book when you're looking at how to deal with how to look at the card, what questions to ask when it's in reverse. Now, like I say, this does say for beginners, but when you look at it, it's something that you or I and every Tom, Dick and Harry here on Tarot Tube can step into, find more deep within and bring it to the fore and create that bond. Right, next coming up, there's a sale on at Oneness Emporium, and if you go to Google Oneness Emporium, it'll bring you to the site, and go to the shop and have a look what is there that might sort of tickle your fancy when it comes to tarot. I picked out 2 this last week, got them for great prices, and one, as you know, I already have a copy of this particular deck, but this one I wanted because it came with a book, it came with a kit, and although I prefer the other deck, I can swap them over. It's just that I thought, right, I can do that and use the other one as I wish, really. I like when you get Oneness Emporium stuff because it comes in a lovely box, everything's wrapped so nicely, and you always get a little envelope as a form of thanks for purchasing with them. And I have these 2 cards here. That is Man, and this is Harvest. And then it gives you readings on the back. That is a deck. I think it would be quite nice to have in your collection. This is the Marchetti Tarot, and this is the version that Simon shown on his channel some months back, and I had ordered the Marchetti Tarot prior to seeing Simon's walkthrough, but my deck came in a completely different box. And when I saw this, I thought, oh, is my deck perhaps a forgery? As it happens, it wasn't. It's another version of the deck, and it is also a signed version. It doesn't come with a book, but it comes with a PDF, which when I first saw that, not this one, the other one that I have, when I first saw that, I thought, oh my God. So I did contact Chiro's team, and it's a legitimate deck, and so is this. But this is the one I wanted for the book. I like a PDF, but I also like a book. So the Marchetti Tarot imagines the 78 cards as a collective theatrical ensemble, with each interaction offering an infinite number of possible plots twists. Each performance is unique and personalised as the card explores the full range of human emotions. In many of the dazzling cards, Chiro has focused on the faces, encouraging an interactive relationship that allows the reader to get to know the characters and their stories more intimately. By inviting us to explore who they are and what they express, we can ask meaningful questions and divide answers that will illuminate our own experiences. This set, and this was from the Oneness Emporium, includes a 116-page illustrated guidebook in which Lee Burston explores different approaches to tarot readings and offers card spreads with introductions and simple readings. So you would have seen this before, but I'll just go through it once more and show you there. This is the book that comes with the deck. Okay, like I say, it is quite in depth and useful, but what I feel with this deck, I personally feel that it will be a nice deck to use with the book that we've just looked at, because of the expressions on the people's faces. Okay, because it, like it says, the faces have been focused upon, you know. Let me see, look at this one for the Three of Swords. You know, that's very different to your usual Three of Swords, and it's something where you could step in, and if you look, there are two faces there. You have this person turning away and this person who's quite frankly heartbroken. To be quite honest, this is a beautiful deck. I love Chiro's work. Look at the tower. That's amazing. If you watched my other walkthrough, you'd see that this particular tower, to me, it's sort of focusing on mental health, because it seems to be everything is focused on the face, the head, and what's going on. Are you creating your own tower moments through self-doubt, through self-deprecating speech, through not believing in yourself, and through having mental stress, you know, that's brought on by yourself or others or your surroundings? You know, what is creating that tower moment? That would be an interesting one to step into and chat with this character. And it would give you a new, if you were to do that with something like the tower, as opposed to looking at a traditional tower where you just see these characters falling from the tower itself as the tower is struck by lightning, you can sort of go more personally into it. You know, look at this, the Eight of Swords, you know. Why do you feel trapped? What's making you feel trapped? Just have a look around you. In this one, when you're looking at the Nine of Cups, look at that dog just chilled out. You could have a chat with him. Let him run around in the garden. Here we have the Six of Cups. You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. I won't go through it all. It's not in order because I have shuffled it and had a little play around with it, as I do. This one comes in a nice two-part box with the lid and, you know, obviously the tray that it sits in, the usual ribbon, and the cards sit in the well when you put them in straight, of course, because Elaine doesn't do things easily. It sits on top of the deck, just like that. So that's the Marchetti Tarot. This was going for $19.99 in Oneness Emporium at the moment. I'm not sure how long the sale is on for, so, you know, go and have a quick look. The second deck is an old deck. It's been around for a long time, but it's one that I've never really added to my collection, but it's one I've wanted. And I just don't know why I haven't taken that leap to get this one once before this. And it's the Aquarian Tarot. The Aquarian Tarot by David Palladini. Okay, and here we go. I bought the tarot in a tin size, which is, you know, a sort of poke size, I'd say. You know, it comes with a little white fold out. It's you know, fold out thing, which just comes with your keywords for each card. You've got your title card and your a bit about David Pellini. So there's your title card. Those are the backs. So here we go. See the art style of the Aquarian Tarot. There we go. And there you go, that's the art style. I won't go through the entire deck. That's the Aquarian Tarot. So folks, those are the books, and this is the deck that I wanted to share with you, or these are the decks I should say that I wanted to share with you. But just before you go, something that I did whilst I was in Wales, I went up Snowdon on the Snowdon Railway with my mum, and we had a lovely, lovely trip. It was so enjoyable. It takes 2.5 hours. It's an hour up, half an hour at the top, and then an hour down. It was really, really enjoyable, and something, having been born and raised in Wales, something I'd never done. Now, I lived very close to Snowdon, but it's just something I never did. I camped at the foothills, and I sort of walked some low hills, but nothing like getting to the top of the summit. It was brilliant. It's whilst we were there, Mum bought us each one of these, and these are mixed marble. It's a nice sort of paperweight thing, but I think this is just going to be lovely to sit and hold as well. All the different colours of marble in that. Isn't that gorgeous? Right? And the other thing that I purchased for my mother and I, this is this is green onyx. Look at that. Isn't it absolutely beautiful? Beautiful, so it is. So this is going to go here on my altar. Lovely to have to remember our trip up and down the mountain. The amazing thing is, when you go up gargantuan mountains, or I say gargantuan in my books, your ears definitely pop, and you're sort of, I don't know how to explain it. It was an amazing experience. The views were stunning beyond anything I can describe, and the fact that some of the rocks you were going past, and there's at one point there's over where rocks have settled. I imagine they have fallen, have been there for over 5,000 years since the last ice age, which was really, really wonderful to see. There was the ruins of an old chapel. Now, we saw one working farmhouse right high up in the hills, but although high up, it was in a sort of valley of two huge peaks as you got nearer the top. And it was amazing, how do people live so far away? It's only the one house that we saw across the whole, or view of where we were going. And there was the ruins of an old chapel that had been there centuries beforehand. And I thought to myself, I actually said to Mum, why would they build a chapel so high up a mountain when there was nobody living there at the time, or didn't appear to be? And it befuddles me, who attended it, But yes, there was lots. It was a beautiful experience, and one I'm glad my mum and I got to do, because neither of us had ever been up Snowdon. We both have now. We've both reached the summit, and it was wonderful. Something we've both achieved later on in our lives. My mum has a fear of heights, but she was remarkable. She loved it, and she would do it again. And we both achieved something together there. It was great. So that's enough of me jabbering on. I'm glad to be back, glad to be here with you, and I look forward to catching up with you all again soon with another guest here on Tarot Tats and Tea. Take care. Bye now.